morning to you. It's Monday the 12th of March 2012. Chris Reardon with today's United Kingdom talk and the important news to start with today, and I'm sure you're all sitting there bated breath wondering what happened to my cat at the vet on Friday. Yeah, my cat's been acting a little bit strange really recently with strange like deep meowing noises when I'm not near. When I'm near her she doesn't do it, but when I'm not near her, and also losing a lot of weight. Well, I took her to the vet on Friday quite late in the afternoon, and the vet lady, lovely lady, says she thinks she's got hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism, which I've looked up on the internet, and basically an overactive thyroid gland, very common disorder in older cats caused by increase in production of thyroid hormones from the thyroid glands, which are situated in the neck. And indeed, while the vet was examining my cat, Katie, she felt around the neck and her hips and all sorts of other little bits and pieces, you know, just general looking over, but in particularly for this thyroid thing. And she thinks that's what she's got. So unfortunately, I'd got there quite late in the day, so they couldn't take they have to do it. She needs to do a blood test, which will look for this, as well as many other things, function of the liver, function of the kidney, and that sort of thing. So I've got to go back today, actually, Monday, and have that blood test. Now, how much do you think that was? How much do you think the blood test is? £111, dear. No, I will pay it because she's worth it. I think a little, your pet is like a little human being, especially if you haven't got anyone in your life. It's your pet. Absolutely, she is worth it. But what a lot of money to take a little bit of blood out of a cat. I mean, she's not even that big. You can't get a lot out of there. £111 for these blood tests. It's outrageous, isn't it? Anyway, so I've got to go back today, which is Monday, and have those blood tests done. She did moan a little bit when she was in her cat basket. I've got a cat basket. I should have brought that up here to show you. I don't dare move out of it in case my sound recorder starts playing up. But I've got a cat basket, and she gets in there, and I close the door, and then she starts meowing loudly. It's all very embarrassing, really, you know. I mean, it's not like I'm taking her down to local Chinese to be cooked, is it? Or anything like that, you know? What a dreadful thing to say. Oh, my God, I wish I hadn't said that now. Oh, I can't let her out of the house anymore. They troll the streets, you know? They do. They go for the streets. Look at not just the Chinese. All these foreign food places. You shouldn't eat foreign food, I'm telling you now. Cats, dogs, everything in there, dear. No, you need to stick to English food. I've said this so many times before. You will not catch me going in any Indian restaurants, Vietnamese, Taiwanese cuisine. We're not having any of it, thank you very much. Fish and chips. That's what it's all about. Eh? So I've got to go back today and see what's wrong. Apparently this is a treatable thing. They can treat the cat for it either with drugs or, I believe, hang on, because again I did look this up on the internet for you, boys and girls. Hang on a minute. treatment. Pills once a day, apparently, or surgical removal of the affected thyroid tissue can produce a permanent cure and is a common treatment. So we might have to do that. No, I don't have a pet insurance. I'm actually one of those people who's a bit against all sorts of insurances. I really am. I hear so many stories of people that are insured for this, that and the other, and they don't pay out properly, you know, or they only pay out half the money or something like that. So I'm totally against insurance. I have no pet insurance or anything like that, so I'll have to just pay for it, and that's it. So I've got that pet thing today. I shall let you know how that goes on tomorrow's show, all right? I don't think they're doing anything else other than taking a little bit of blood out. Where do they take that from a cat? You know, because they're only little, aren't they? Do they take it at their little paw or their back? I don't know where they take that from. Anyway, I shall watch that. I don't suppose she'll like that for one moment, but there we are. So that's the cat news. What a glorious day it was here in Bracknell, Royal Berkshire yesterday. The sun was out all day long Sunday. I went for a little... it's become a little bit of a thing where I go for a Sunday very early afternoon walk. What I do is I come in my little office, where I am now, and I do my paperwork and music charts and things like that for the week. And then when I've done that, I usually leave the house right about 12 o'clock and I go for a good hour and a quarter's walk over in my beloved Swinley Forest, which is here in Bracknell. It's so nice. And you don't have to walk fast. You know, there's a couple of hills that I go up and down. Hell of a lot of blooming mountain bikes, so that does piss me off. Mountain bikes. And they don't seem to care that you're walking on the same... They just come straight at you. I hate them. I hate... I've got one myself, but I don't drive around like an idiot. You want to see them all out there, all with the bright lycra on and the helmets and the toe clips, the whole bloody lot. They look complete and utter wankers. They really do. They absolutely do. And most of them, there's a lot of them are overweight as well. You know, they've got this tight lycra on and the leggings, and it's hanging up. These leggings are gripping. They're absolutely gripping these legs, and the fat's hanging over the side. I mean, I would look the same, which is why I don't wear them. You don't need to look a complete and utter prat when you're out. Just wear something a bit looser. But they've got all the gear on, dear. And numbers, they've got numbers. Must have been some sort of race going on. But they don't respect the fact that these footpaths are used by foot passengers as well, like myself. Quietly going for a lovely afternoon stroll, only to have it interrupted by bloody cyclists all over the place. Well, it does annoy me, dear. Apart from that, it was very nice. You know, and the sun was shining down. There's like a very long path I go down, and I walk along this path for about 25 minutes. And at that time of the day, the sun is directly over your face, and it's always lovely walking along in that room. I came back here then, did my dinner, then sat out in the garden for a little bit, did some gardening. Oh, I planted those carrots. I got some carrot seeds, so they've got in the ground. That whole vegetable area plot that you will have seen at the end of last year on the shows there, if you were with us then, is almost full up with things that are, well, I say things that are growing. Some tiny little plants that I put in, some plants that are already sort of partly grown. Brussels sprouts and, what's the other one? Broccoli. And seeds, I've put in onions. I told you this already on it. Onions, peas, carrots, runner beans, they're in little pots. But actually, I'm growing these little runner beans in pots. Quite frankly, I don't know where I'm going to put them now, because I've kind of run out of space on there. I suppose I could pull it out a little bit further, couldn't I? I mean, I don't want to take the whole garden up with vegetables. And I did find a very interesting video on. There's lots of YouTube videos of normal people, not like professional gardeners that are on the telly. Like who's that bloke who does a chat show on ITV? I can't. Alan Titchmarsh. You know, not just people like Alan Titchmarsh, but people like me, amateur gardeners, who have made little videos and share their experiences, which is great, you know, because then you know, oh, I'm not quite sure what to do, let's have a look on YouTube, and someone's done it already, and that's quite useful. One of the things I've got to do is put down the little blue I don't like using chemicals and that on the garden, but you haven't got much choice really. Putting down the blue pellets for the snails and slugs, because I have already, I mean this early in the year, I have already spotted a few snails and slugs creeping around my garden, boys and girls. Very, very small ones at the moment. They're not fat yet, and I'm not going to let them get fat on my blooming plants. Last year, I tried broccoli last year. We didn't succeed with the broccoli last year. Number one, very early on, they were attacked by slugs, and they were just stems, you know, stems sticking out of the soil with no leaves, because the blooming snails had eaten them all. So we're not doing that. And the other broccoli, I lost the rest of the broccoli. It bolted basically, and it flowered. That bit you eat, the broccoli, is actually a flower which has not opened up. Once it opens up, that's it. Useless. So you've got to get it just before it opens up. I'm not quite sure of the timing of that, or you know, you kind of think, oh, I'll let it get a bit bigger, and it gets bigger, and it gets a little bit more bigger, a little bit more, and it flowers, and then you've lost the whole thing. So won't be doing any of that. So very nice day in the garden yesterday. Remember that 21st birthday I did? Well, I did that. Very nice. A lovely girl called Tash, and extremely very cute but young boyfriend Steve. That was their names. I did her 21st party in a working man's club, actually, in Winnierish on Saturday. Quite a nice little evening. As those sort of family events go, it was the typical family event, 7:30 to 11:30. 7:30 comes. The host always expects everyone's going to arrive, and she said, whenever I do a mobile disco, it's the same story time and time again. And they say, well, they won't be here till about 9 o'clock. Oh, no, they'll definitely be here at 7:30. Well, indeed, at 7:30 there were a few people there, about 8. And as time went on, they came, and it's always the same. The first hour and a half, 2 hours, literally, is people getting there. That's just how it is, And around about 9 o'clock, I suppose we were there. A little bit less people than I think they expected. And then 9 o'clock comes, you do the food, and then 9:30, 9:45, you're playing the music the whole time. No one really dances at these family events. It's very unusual for you to have an entire dance floor until the last 10 minutes. And then they all come on the floor for the last song. And that's exactly what happened. And it's no one's fault. It's not usually the DJ. It's not usually the people. People just don't want to dance, and that's the way it is. You have to remember, it's not a disco. It's not a nightclub or a bar. It's a family get-together. And people just tend not to dance at these events until very late on. All right, so that was quite nice. They were pleased with the music and everything. And she's such a nice girl. And her mum, what was her name? Phyllis. Her mum, Phyllis. All very, very nice people. So that went very well. All right, some emails today, boys and girls. My email address, if you ever want to join in, is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right. Hello to the lovely Jennifer, who sent this in last week, actually. And Jennifer says, "Hi, Chris. How are you? I'm glad you recovered from that nasty flu. Yeah, it was a bit of a bugger, that one, but we're okay now. I was quite concerned about your absence. I was concerned. I worry that I'm missing things because I am a nosy person. I'm always on the internet looking to see what other people are at, looking on Facebook. Although the whole thanks, I call them the thank you brigade. The thank you brigade on Facebook is getting larger. Now, these are people that do something, whatever it is, a job or something else, and they do this job, and then they find it necessary to go on Facebook afterward and thank everyone publicly. And I'm getting a little bit fed up with that. And what's all that about? You've done a job, you've been paid, that's it. End of story. The thank you brigade. Have you noticed that? Thank you brigade, also known as arse lickers. Arse lickers, boys and girls, or brown nosers. Those people they're kind of saying, oh, thank you, in the hope of getting more work. Do you see what I mean? It's too much. It really is too much. Jennifer says, I know we communicated a little while you were down and out, but alas, I am the good dubby that did not offer you medical advice. Yeah, what she's saying there is people in good terms, in their own good willing way, whenever you're ill and you say, oh, I've got a bit of a flu, oh, you must take this, you must, oh, here we go again. I don't want to hear this again. They mean very good. It's full good intentions, but it gets on your nerves, doesn't it? Or you've got to have lemon. Oh, definitely. You must have honey. It'll be so much better. And it's not. It's not better. It doesn't get better. All these things in the chemist, Lemsips and all that old rubbish, it doesn't make any difference. You've just got to sit it out. Do what you normally do. Have your cup of tea and your cream cake. Oh, that reminds me. I have a cream cake in the fridge. I nearly forgot about that. But it's 2 days old. Will it still be all right? It's a strawberry pavlova. Yeah, it's like Ronnie bought this for me. When was he here? Thursday. It was a bit... Oh, hang on. No, Friday. Oh, it is a couple of days old. I'll smell it. You can always tell food, how it's doing, by how it smells. And you just yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about these sell-by dates. My best friend Ronnie, something's past the sell-by date, it's in the bin straight away. Won't smell it, won't go near it. In the bin straight away. Don't buy it then. I hate food wasted. Most of that stuff, it goes past its sell-by date. If it's in the fridge, it's all right for a good 7 or 8 days after that. Just live it. Have a little sniff. Does it smell like it's been dead for a year? If so, chuck it out. If not, eat it. Eat it. Even a bit of meat, cook it a bit longer. That'd kill anything in it, wouldn't it? Which reminds me, I burnt my dinner today. Oh dear. I had, what are they called? Those Quorn steaks, which are incidentally on special offer at the moment. Quorn steaks on special offer in Sainsburys. Oh, hang on, how much was it? For £3.50 or £5? I think 2 for £5. Last week they were trying to sell them for £3.85 each. I don't think so. You're taking a piss again, Sainsburys. £3.85 for 2 steaks. I'm sure they were that. Anyway, at the moment they're 2 packs for a £5, which is fair enough. And I bought 2. I think I bought 6. Was it 6? I'm sure I bought 6. Yeah. 2 for a £5, £2. Oh dear, I'm hiccuping. £2.50 each is a fair price for those. Another thing I found about in Sainsbury's the other day, right? I bought my bran flakes. I had bran flakes and blueberries every morning for breakfast, right? So I'm running out of bran flakes, so I've gone up to Sainsbury's to get the bran flakes, and I got some. This is the own brand ones. £2.05. Was it £2.08? £2.05 for a 1 kilogram box of bran flakes. I thought, no, you're taking a mick again. Because last week, I'm sure they were only £1.85. How have they gone up so much in a week? And I thought, well, I'll have something else. And I started looking around at the other breakfast cereals. Do you know what? I don't think there was hardly anything there for less than £2 a box. So I don't know when all that went up, and I thought, no, I'm not buying these. I'm not buying these. So I left the shop, and, are you ready for this? Shock horror, I bit my lip, and I thought, I wonder how much these are in... I don't like to say the word too loudly. Aldi. So, you know, not one of... I'm not a fan of Aldi. I really am not a fan. There's not enough staff there. It's clinical. There's no atmosphere in that shop at all. But I thought, I'm not paying £2.05 for a box of bran flakes. So I went in Aldi, found the bran flakes, a slightly smaller box, 750 grams, not by much. How much? Go on. £2.05 for the 1 kilogram box of Sainsbury's own brand bran flakes. Right? 1 kilogram. How much for the 750 grams, slightly less of course than the 1 kilogram, in Aldi? Oh, I said that too loud. Aldi. 99p. Thank you very much. 99p. So I picked up 6 boxes. Oh, and they've got baskets in there now at last. At last they've got baskets in Aldi, because they only used to have trolleys. And this shop assistant, she was walking down with this armful of baskets. I was like, oh, you got baskets. When did they come? She said, like, last Monday. Because whenever I've been in there, which is rare, people have been looking around for baskets and they don't have any because they expect you to go in there and do a massive shop or nothing else. You know, so what I used to do, I'd take in a bag with me, whatever my shopping bag. Oh, that's another thing. Always take your bags into Aldi. Right? Because you will be charged for your bags otherwise. All right? You will be charged. So I always take a bag in, and I just put the stuff in the bag as I walk around the shop, and then empty it onto the conveyor belt thing when I get to the end. But they've got baskets now. That must have been everyone complaining. I know so many times I heard people in there, including myself, request that they get baskets in there. So they've got them at last. Praise the Lord. 99p. I bought 6 boxes. Thank you very much, and that's it. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to spend a little afternoon going around in Aldi, because you kind of get to know how much things are, don't you? Your normal stuff that you buy every week. You say, oh, but that loaf of bread's gone up 25p. You do notice that, don't you, when you buy the same stuff every week. So I'm going to go around in Aldi and just have a look at how much stuff is. And I bought a large packet of chocolate biscuits. I think it was 89p. That's cheap, dear. And do you know what? They taste almost the same as the McVitie's ones. Absolutely. They really do. The Bran flake brands I bought was Harvest Moon. 99 pence, thank you. I shall be buying them in there in future. And stop taking the piss at Sainsburys. Because the more you do it, the more I shall spend elsewhere. This is the only way to do it. You've got to go somewhere else. You've got to vote with your feet, boys and girls. Go somewhere else. Go and have a look somewhere cheaper. Don't let them take the mick out of you like that. It's annoying. So I don't know how I got off that. How I got off your email then. I shall get back onto your email straight away. Lovely Jennifer. She says, now I have this horrible head cold. Oh, well, what you need to do is put... Oh, sorry. No, I'm giving advice. She says, my voice is a little altered before I'm talking all nasally. Well, I have to tell you, your voice may be talking all... It doesn't come across on the email, though, darling. All right, lovely. As far as I'm concerned, on your email looks completely normal. You'd never know that you were ill. You absolutely wouldn't. She says, actually, I think I sound like an idiot. Jennifer. I think I've sounded like an idiot for years, and it doesn't bother me. You know, people don't you worry what people think. No, I don't worry. I am me, and that's it. We like to have a laugh. We like to take the mick out of ourselves, and we like to make people smile. And those people that don't smile have no sense of humour when they walk around looking down their nose at everyone else. No, let yourself go. Don't grow up. That's my advice to people. Never, ever grow up because you become boring. I'm sorry, I have to say that my nephew Gary and my niece Tracy have both grown up now. They're both married. Both are expecting... Well, Gary's wife is expecting a baby. They're all expecting... And quite frankly, they've become boring. Even my nephew, 14 years old, Jimmy Butler, bit older now, becoming stroppy teenager, he has become a little bit boring. But fortunately, soon, this year, boys and girls, I am to become Great Uncle Chris. Yes, more children are going to be ejected from their mothers for me to play with. How fantastic is that? Yes, little trips out to the seaside. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm sorry, kids, once you go over the age of 14 or 13, you become boring. You really become boring. If you start becoming sensible, they do become sensible, and it's so boring, isn't it boring? Being sensible. Come on, adults. Don't you wish you could turn that clock back to when you were 10 years old? Hey, I do. I had a wonderful time. Once apparently I went marching into this pond, fully clothed. Wouldn't you love to do... I might do that actually later. I might do that because there's a pond over the forest. I might go in that pond fully clothed. Back to the email. So don't worry about sounding like an idiot, Jennifer, because I've been like that for years. She says, you know, even with a common cold, everybody has a comment of what I should be doing in order to get it better quicker. I know, doesn't it get on your nerves, dear? They mean well. They do mean well, but it does get on you and you think, shut up! And like you, I just want to shout, will you shut up? I'm 43 years old. Oh, come on, Jennifer. 43, love. I thought we were friends. You haven't got to lie to me, darling. 43. I'm 43 years old. I'll be better soon. I don't want to drink your nasty concoction of vinegar, water and honey. Just leave me alone. They do. They come out with all this old rubbish, don't they? She says, I've been listening to every show and wanted to comment on a couple of things. Onions. Now, you know, I'm trying to grow onions in my little vegetable plot. They are now in the ground. They're not showing their little edge yet, but I remain hopeful. It's a bit early. How are yours growing? Well, they're in the ground. That's all. Nothing has appeared yet. I myself have two types of potted onions that grow extremely well. I plant green onions and chives. All I really do is buy one bunch of green onions at the supermarket, use them up by cutting them down to the white part of the plant near the roots and plant them. You'd be surprised how fast those onions grow. Oh, so what do? You use them up by cutting them down to the white part. Are these... So don't you eat the white bulb then? I don't understand. Are you only eating the green bits? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. She says, just a little water and sunshine and voila! I just love it when I need these 2 ingredients in my dinner recipes. All I have to do is go onto the porch and snip off what I need. There's a much better taste when they are fresh as compared to the dry ingredients in a bottle. Oh, there must be. I am so much looking forward to, I hope I do manage to grow some things. I mean, some things seem to work. The runner beans that I grew last year, they went very well. Runner beans, they grew easily and they just keep giving. You know, you pull off a load and the next day they're all back again. Very easy to grow runner beans. She says you were also talking about how close your cat sleeps to you. I know we've discussed this before. However, my favourite cat, Nacho, is my sleep buddy. He will only lay on top of me if there is a sheet or blanket on me. I don't know what it is, but he just won't lay with me if I'm not covered. Well, I should hope not as well. Well, you're not married, are you? You can't be married. You can't be laying naked with other animals or people if you're not married, dear. What's going on, Jennifer? I honestly think it's the difference in cloth textures. Say he sees me in blue pyjamas and sees me laying on white sheets. It's like a different terrain. If there's just one solid cloth, it's like one large piece, no matter how lumpy it may be. Well, I mean, the occasional person who I've brought home here has often called me lumpy for some reason. It's not necessary, is it really? Lumpy. Me, lumpy. He prefers to lay across me. What's funny is that I'm sleeping on my left side and I feel like switching to my right. I'll roll under the covers and Nacho stays in place. It's like he's laying on top of me, stating to the other cats in their home, in the home, this is my companion and don't try to take over. He has at times smacked my tuxedo cat, Cracker Jack, upside the head whenever he tries to snuggle up with me. Lately, Nacho has found a new place to lay, and that would be right on top of my neck with his torso covering the side of my face. Oh, that would make me sneeze, dear. That would. Sometimes I'll tolerate it for a while, but most of the time I have to push him off because I end up breathing cat fur and sneezing. Achoo! 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 Poor old thing sneezing like that. I also wanted to comment on that horrible tragedy, oh yes, it was an awful, awful story, of that little boy who was tortured and murdered by a family member. You may remember we talked about that story. I think it was the beginning of last week or the end of the week before. This little boy had come over to visit members of his family. Now, was it his sister? I'm so sorry, I can't remember now, but it was members of his family, and they believed in witchcraft, and they thought he was possessed, and they did some terrible, terrible thing, tortured him. They got a pair of pliers on his ear and twisted it, and there were bruises and all sorts of things, and they ended up drowning him in a bath. It's one of the saddest stories that I've ever read, really is. And anyway, these people are now in prison. And I'm sure, although it's not really talked about, is it? I'm sure other prisoners will find out what those nasty people did and will sort them out, you know. I mean, I've never been in prison. I've never really met anyone in prison or anything like that. But I just get this general feeling, you know, prisons are full of all sorts of people. There are murderers, there are robbers, fraud people, and I have a feeling that anyone who's anything to do with harming or abusing children is dealt with by the other prisoners. It's frowned upon, and rightly too, by the other prisoners. You know, I think there's a lot of difference in between robbing a bank and doing something nasty to a child. And I do believe, and I shouldn't say this perhaps, and I hope that these people are dealt with in prison. Because you can't go out harming little children. Like it just makes me sick what some people do to children. You hear the stories, all sorts of stories all the time. This was a particularly nasty one, particularly nasty prison story. Jennifer goes on to say, that is something that shouldn't be given life in prison. That should be punished by the same torture and death that they inflicted on that poor child. Oh yes, I mean, I'd quite happily have this couple, whether they believe in witchcraft or not, you know, I'd quite happily have this couple held down, and I'd like to get a pair of pliers and twist their bloody ears until they scream blue murder, wouldn't you? Apparently, at one point, this little boy was begging to die. He was in so much... Oh, it's just dreadful. Can you just imagine being that little boy? Dreadful. Jennifer goes on to say, I can't understand how anyone can do that to another human being. My heart goes out to his parents who were in France. I saw his, I think it was his father, interviewed on there, on the news programme about what had happened. The father had sent this little boy, I think it was his sister, to his sister's house. And that's where but they were interviewing his father, I think the next day, and I've got to say, I didn't see much sadness in his... Whether he's one of those people who, you know, hides their emotions. There are people that hide their emotions quite a lot. My mother was one of those, you know, and it doesn't always... It's not always the right thing to do, to hide your emotions. I try and hide mine as well. I mean, you wouldn't know really... I don't think usually whether I'm upset or happy in a particular way. But the father was being interviewed, and he didn't look that upset. Did anyone else see that interview? What do you think? Did you see that interview? Let me know. Chris, UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. I'm not saying he's with anything to do with it. He just didn't seem to come across as being upset. You know, if you'd found out your son had died a couple of days or a day before, surely you'd be in pieces, wouldn't you? And it's the worst thing, isn't it? You know, to actually see your child die. Even worse, to know that your child had been killed. Jennifer says, oh my gosh, I don't know how I could ever deal with anything like that. Anyway, I have to get off this subject. Hate to end on a sad note, but I must get back to work at the cookie tree. Hugs to you. And that's from Jennifer. So very nice to hear from you, as always, Jennifer. Nice comments there, my darling. How are we doing for time? Oh, we've done half hour, have we? Oh, I better go then. I suppose I better go. Shall we get one more quick one in? One more quick one in? Yes. From Millie in Minnesota, who says, hi Chris, usually I try to keep my emails as positive as possible. I'm hurting too much for that, not only because of my father dying, but also because the story you shared about the little boy hit a nerve, and it's very painful and raw for me. I will say that I know what it's like to be an innocent child that has been hurt by someone they knew and trusted. Trust me, these two will get what's coming to them in prison. So yes, there we are. The only thing is, you know, we probably won't hear what happens to those two in prison. You know, so I think that's all kept quite quiet, isn't it? But I'm sure as well, you know, that the other people in there, you know, I mean, prison people, I suppose. I don't really know what. I mean, I suppose I have known a couple of people that have been in prison, and on the outside of it, you know, they're quite nice people and what have you. They've got into trouble for perhaps stealing or something like that. They're the sort of prisoners I know. But there are people in prison who, although very nasty people, would never dream of hurting a child. They wouldn't dream of touching a child in any way, shape or form. And when they find out about these two people, yeah, absolutely. Millie, her father's dying at the moment. She has got cancer that he's been treated for. My dad is still with us, but we don't know for how long. We're literally taking it hour by hour. The sadness comes in waves. My heart is broken. So thanks for that one, Millie. Anyway, time for me to go now, boys and girls. Being a Monday night, I am hosting karaoke tonight, boys and girls. Monday night is karaoke night at Belushi's in Borough High Street in London, 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. You will need photo ID to get in there after 9 p.m. Okay, so karaoke every Monday and Wednesday night at Belushi's in London Bridge, Borough High Street in London, 10 till 2 o'clock. Thanks very much for watching today. I'll see you on the next show. Oh, email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Bye-bye.